As we begin our season of Lent today, we are going to hear some more words of teaching from Jesus and his Sermon on the Mount. These words are part of the larger invitation that he gives to his followers to live faithfully, day by day, in the presence of God. In this specific passage, Jesus challenges us to consider what truly matters in our lives and where our hearts are placed. I'm going to read from the Common English Bible, Matthew chapter 6, verses 1 through 6 and 16 through 21. Be careful that you don't practice your religion in front of people to draw their attention. If you do, you will have no reward from your Father who is in heaven. Whenever you give to the poor, don't blow your trumpet as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, so that they may get praise from people. I assure you, that's the only reward that they will get. But when you give to the poor, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that you may give to the poor in secret. Your Father who sees what you do in secret will reward you. And when you pray, don't pray like hypocrites. They love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the street corners so that people see them. Again, that's the only reward that they will get. When you pray, go to your room, shut the door, and pray to your Father who is present in that secret place. Your Father who sees what you do in secret will reward you. And when you fast, don't put on a sad face like the hypocrites. They distort their faces so people will know that they're fasting. I assure you that they have their reward. When you fast, brush your hair, wash your face. Then you won't look like you are fasting to people, but only to your Father, who is present in that secret place. Your Father who sees in secret will reward you. Stop collecting treasures for your benefit on earth, where moth and rust eat them and where thieves break in and steal them. Instead, collect treasures for yourselves in heaven, where moth and rust don't eat them and where thieves don't break in and steal them. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Now, my cynical side has often found this to be an unusual passage for Ash Wednesday. Jesus says, be careful that you don't practice your religion in front of people to draw their attention. And then we go and mark ourselves with crosses on our foreheads for everyone to see. I realize it's the intention that matters, but that still feels a little ironic to me. And then there's the traditional Lent question. What will you be giving up for Lent this year? When our kids were young, our pastor would very publicly give up drinking Coke for Lent. And then on Easter Sunday, invariably, one of the kids would come to the front for the children's message and give him a bottle of Coke. What do you suppose that meant to those children? It's also quite fashionable to add something for Lent instead of giving something up. A daily devotion. Exercise while you meditate. community service. It makes me wonder, do we need to make some visible external sign to demonstrate that we are observing Lent? Ashes, or sacrifice, or some new practice. We live in a world where almost nothing stays hidden. Good deeds are photographed. Acts of generosity are announced. Even the quiet moments seem to get publicized somehow. I read of a college student who decided that for Lent, she would not give up chocolate or coffee like she usually did. Instead, she gave up posting to social media. For 40 days, she did one intentional act of kindness each day and told nobody. No photos, no captions, no hints, no discussion. At first, she felt oddly invisible. She noticed how much she missed being seen. But over the course of those 40 days, something shifted. She began asking herself, would I still do this if nobody knew? When the answer was yes, the act felt different, lighter, freer, like it belonged to God and not her public image. When Jesus said, beware of practicing your piety before others in order to be seen, he's not saying that generosity or prayer or fasting are bad things. But when being seen becomes the goal, something in the heart gets misplaced. They say that faith is what happens when nobody's watching. I bet you have a junk drawer at home. If you're like me, you have more than one. Places where things accumulate without us really noticing until you can't open and close the drawer anymore because something's catching them. I think Lent can be like opening the drawer of our hearts. Jesus said, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. He didn't say where your heart is, there your treasure will follow. He said it the other way. What we store up, what we hold on to, what we protect, what we polish and display, it shapes us. And so maybe the question for Lent isn't just what will I give up or what will I add? Maybe there's another question. What has been quietly accumulating in the drawer of my heart? Need for approval? The need to be right? Resentment? Anxiety? A need to be noticed? What's in your drawer? Ash Wednesday is a strange gift. The ashes aren't pretty. The ones we use are traditionally made from burning the palm branches from last year's Palm Sunday. The same palms that were once waved in celebration are reduced to dust. It's to remind us of our own mortality and the fleeting nature of earthly things. Just as the palms are transformed by fire into ashes, Lent invites us to let go of what is temporary and open our hearts to God's renewing grace. No demonstration is required. You don't have to perform a devotion. There's nobody to impress. Maybe Lent this year can be less about achievement and more about loosening a grip so that our hearts can rest again in God. Maybe it's choosing one thing that will remain unseen, clearing one drawer in ourselves that has gotten too crowded. It can happen by simply asking, what am I really living for? Because wherever our treasure settles, our hearts will follow. Amen.